Welcome back to GameVault HQ. Today we're taking a close look at Syberia 3, the third installment in a beloved adventure series, released in 2017, that follows the journey of Kate Walker. There was a 13-year gap between Syberia 2, 2004, and Syberia 3. Now, if you've experienced the previous two games, you know they were all about unraveling mysteries in hauntingly beautiful settings. But Syberia 3 takes us in a new, ambitious direction with its shift to 3D environments. The story continues sometime after the events of Syberia 2, with Kate Walker stranded and ultimately rescued by a nomadic tribe called the Youkol. The plot centers on helping the Youkol complete their sacred journey with their snow ostriches. Yes, you heard that right, snow ostriches. And Kate becomes deeply entwined in this quest. The story's charm lies in its quirky characters, unique cultural elements, and the mechanical puzzles and surreal environments that make the adventure distinctly Syberia. Kate is again put through emotional and physical challenges, all while confronting her past and finding meaning in her journey. Let's talk about the visuals and atmosphere. One of the first things you notice about Syberia 3 is the shift to fully 3D environments. This transition has received mixed feedback from both critics and fans, with some appreciating the new perspective and others missing the detailed, hand-drawn charm of the earlier games. This choice by developer Microids, under the supervision of series creator Benoit Sokal, was definitely ambitious, especially for a series that's been known for its beautifully drawn, almost painting-like backgrounds. While the new 3D look loses some of the intricate, hand-drawn art style detail we loved in the earlier games, it still does a solid job of immersing you in an unfamiliar world. There's something about the eerie towns, mechanical contraptions, and vibrant colors that just pulls you in. Even if it's not quite as visually striking as its predecessors. The puzzles are another key part of Syberia 3, and they're honestly a bit hit or miss. Some of them are inventive and fun, a nod to the original spirit of the series, but others end up feeling a little too obscure or unnecessarily frustrating. There's a moment early on in the game where Kate has to solve a relatively complex sequence involving mechanical gears that requires careful observation and timing. And while it's challenging in a good way, other puzzles sometimes come across as obtuse without much logical flow. It's the kind of thing that will either have you feeling like a genius or pulling your hair out, sometimes both in the span of 5 minutes. The voice acting varies significantly in quality, though it's worth noting that the game was released with full voice acting in multiple languages, which was a significant feature for its accessibility. Kate Walker's lines are delivered well, keeping you connected to her journey, but many of the side characters lack polish, with some lines sounding rushed and poorly timed. This inconsistency affects immersion at times, which is a shame considering the effort put into fleshing out the characters. It's not exactly a deal-breaker, but there were moments where immersion took a back seat due to the wooden delivery. It's a shame, especially considering how much effort went into fleshing out the characters and their unique personalities. The gameplay mechanics, now in full 3D, can be a bit clunky at times. This was the first Syberia game to use the Unity engine, which contributed to some of the performance issues. Movement is not always smooth, and Kate's interactions with objects can be cumbersome, such as when trying to line her up correctly to pick up an item, which can feel frustrating and outdated. These technical issues were especially pronounced at launch, with significant performance problems and bugs that required multiple patches to address. Picture this. You see an item you need, and you just can't seem to line Kate up correctly to pick it up. It's a little reminiscent of older point-and-click games that tried to adapt to console controls, but didn't quite nail the fluidity. These moments can detract from the experience, especially for players expecting a more polished system. The game was released on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and later on Nintendo Switch, providing accessibility across multiple platforms. Music and sound design, on the other hand, are high points. The music enhances specific scenes brilliantly, evoking a sense of tension when navigating eerie abandoned villages, or capturing the emotional intensity during the climactic moments of the Youkol's journey, making the atmosphere even more immersive. Composed by Inan Zur, the soundtrack fits beautifully with the game's environments and moments of tension. The subtle piano melodies, combined with the atmospheric hums, capture the melancholic and mysterious essence of the series perfectly. Whether it's the snowy wilderness or the lively tribal gatherings, the music helps build the atmosphere, making those quiet moments of exploration feel impactful. For newcomers to the series, Syberia 3 tries to provide enough context through flashbacks, but the magic is best appreciated by those familiar with Kate's journey from the beginning. Kate's motivations, her backstory, and even the quirks of the world she inhabits are all enriched by having played the earlier titles. In the first two games, Kate begins as a lawyer sent to finalize a business deal, only to find herself caught up in a fantastical journey involving automatons and forgotten cultures. Her transformation from a career-driven individual to an adventurer willing to leave everything behind gives depth to her actions in Syberia 3. For longtime fans, this installment gives a chance to reconnect with Kate. But if this is your first Syberia experience, you might find yourself a bit lost in the details. One area where the game deserves credit is in its ability to evoke nostalgia, while also presenting a new set of challenges for Kate. The story touches on themes of belonging and freedom, echoing the emotional depth of the earlier games. For example, Kate's struggle to help the Youkol people complete their sacred migration reflects her own search for a place where she truly belongs, while also emphasizing the importance of personal freedom and the sacrifices required to achieve it. It also introduces new elements, like the relationship between Kate and the Youkol people, that add fresh layers to her character, even if some plot points, like Kate's relationship with certain side characters, feel undercooked or rushed, lacking the emotional depth they could have achieved. Despite its issues, there's something undeniably endearing about Syberia 3. The charm lies in Kate's resilience, the quirky interactions with the Youkol, and those small, touching moments, like when Kate bonds with Kirk, a Youkol leader, or when she uses her ingenuity to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles. These elements remind us why we fell in love with the series in the first place. It might stumble in its execution, but the heart of the series, Kate Walker's relentless pursuit of adventure, and the unique world Benoit Sokal created, is still present. This was the last Syberia game released before Benoit Sokal's passing in 2021. When you're overlooking a snowy expanse with the faint notes of Zura's music playing in the background, it's hard not to feel a pang of the old magic. A fourth game, Syberia, The World Before, was later released in 2022, continuing Kate's legacy. That said, Syberia 3 is definitely not without its flaws. The uneven voice acting, the occasional clunky controls, and some of the puzzles that feel overly challenging without clear logic all hold it back from reaching the greatness of its predecessors. But for those willing to push through the bumps, there's an adventure here that stays true to its roots while daring to try something different, even if it doesn't always succeed. We give Syberia 3 a 5.5 out of 10, which aligns with the general critical consensus. It's a flawed but heartfelt continuation of Kate Walker's journey, and for fans of the series, it's still worth a playthrough, if only to witness her next steps firsthand. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the games you love. Let us know in the comments if you've played Syberia 3 and what your thoughts are on Kate's journey. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.